Checking in with Dayton basketball. Assistant coach Jermaine Henderson joins us. You came on April 2023.
Yeah.
What a first year at UD. Describe last season and the success.
Well, I think it was magical from a program standpoint when you've kind of had the journey I've had playing at Miami, Ohio, keeping an eye on Dayton basketball. Practically my whole career playing and coaching, it was very special for me and my family to be part of. But I think it was a product of those guys grinding away. I don't have to tell you about the injuries and the shortcomings of previous seasons, but it was magical. And I think it began in the summer as we prepared for our overseas trip, heading to Barcelona, going to Paris. I think the focus came to us a lot earlier than most times because we prepared like we were going into real games, for Europe. So practice were competitive, and coach had us in line in our preparation, just learning offense, learning defense. So for me, when I reflect back, it was one of the best years of my career, not just for the winning, but to be able to see the camaraderie come together. And so it was really, really special to end up in the NCAA tournament.
For Coach Grant, obviously his time at Dayton, he knows what it's like to play at UD Arena. You can also, though, talk to recruits about that. You mentioned Miami, Ohio. Mm-hmm. I want to go back there because you've had some fun times in the arena, and especially looking back to 1995.
Well, I tell you what, 1995 was very, very interesting because back in those days, we would play Dayton every year when I played for Miami. So we were very familiar with the arena, the pageantry of the fan base, and the excitement of playing here in UD Arena. And so when we came back as the home team, so to speak, it gave us great joy. I remember finding out we were in the tournament because we were the league champ in '95, but we got beaten in semis by Ball State, and Bonzi Wells, a great player, by 2 points. And so in that time leading up until the selection show, we didn't know.
12 seed.
12 seed, and we had no idea we were going to get in. There weren't all these websites and net rankings back then. You had to literally wait. But what joy that brought. We were at Coach Sindek's house, and we had all this food, and all the families were there, and nobody could eat. I mean, we were all stuck in this rut from our semifinal loss. But when they announced the field, I don't think for the first 15, 20 minutes anybody realized we were playing at UD or what seed we were. We were just happy. But I remember the practices leading up. When we came here, there was a great ovation. And I remember the Dayton fans at the open shoot in the pregame just welcoming us, although we were the rival Redskins. Mm-hmm. So the familiarity was really, really good for us. The travel was good. I remember the weather being good. And so, I mean, two of our rotational guys were from Dayton, Ohio, Ken Bozeman and Chris McGuire. They played their butts off. And Kevin Beard was a local from Middletown. So there was a lot of things working in our favor during that run. And what magical time we had beating Arizona, pushing Virginia to overtime. And that was the best time of my life. I was a reserve and played very little, and had a little bit of action there against Virginia, being able to come in and make free throws in overtime. But I tell people I was the most efficient player in the NCAA tournament in '95. This is no lie. You can look it up. I played 1 minute in the first half. I got 1 rebound and 1 assist in my 1 minute, and I think I was in the game for 2 transitions. And so. But the memories, the excitement, the jubilation when we were able to not just defeat a 5 seed in Arizona, great player Damon Stoudemire, but that fed into that beast called playing in the NCAA tournament as a player. And I've been fortunate to do that in multiple moves in my coaching career, and it's just the best.
I want to talk about your coaching career because it started quickly. Mm-hmm. In that you mentioned playing for the great Herb Sendek.
Yep.
And then Miami, a lot of people look back to Wally Zerbiak and just a few years later and making that Sweet 16 run.
Yeah.
You were right there for that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, getting recruited by Miami when I was in Columbus, Ohio, I was very familiar with the program, with Coach Darrell Hedrick and Jerry Pearson, and then Joe B. Wright came. And then when I was a freshman, Coach Wright went to Wyoming. I decided to stay at Miami, and Coach Sindek was a young up-and-coming coach from the University of Kentucky. And so the winning had been there. I think Derek Cross and Jamie Mahaffey are two of my big brothers. They were juniors on that team. They had won back-to-back championships in the Mid-American Conference and had been to postseason. And everybody will remember Mike Williams and us almost beating North Carolina in 1992 in the NCAA. So there was some history there to be part of. And so coming there was this responsibility, so to speak, as a player to keep that going. We were fortunate to do that. And in my 4 years, we won 2 championships. We went to 2 NCAA tournaments, 2 NITs, and the memories are just, countless. And we have a text feed of all our teammates, and I don't think any of us has ever graduated from 97. You know what I mean? 93 team, 94, 95, 96, 97. We're all still great friends to today. And we have a lot of fun reminiscing because of the unique times of Miami basketball. And those are things we will cherish for the rest of our lives.
And sort of you jumping in to the coaching staff,
yeah.
Charlie Coles takes over.
Yeah.
And God bless his soul,
Yeah.
that was always an adventure. And the winning was there, but also him on the sideline.
Oh.
I'm sure we could probably talk for an hour on Charlie
You don't
Coles
have enough
stories.
tape to reel. He was the most charismatic person I had ever been around or being a part of in the staff meetings, on the floor, traveling on the bus, in the airport. I told people at his funeral he was out of his mind and he was nuts, but he was majestic. He was compassionate and he was a true leader, a man's man. And so I jumped right in to coaching because I wasn't going to play professional. I was looking forward to teaching and coaching. And he came to me in the spring and said, "Hey, I got plans for you. Don't worry, I got it all taken care of." And there was so much trust and love built up because he was an assistant 2 years, and then he was our head coach my senior year. And so being captain of the team, taking on that role of leadership, I got a version of coaching because we had great players during that time. And so being a part of that championship run was good, but it was my springboard into coaching. So I had to student teach in the fall of '97, but he made me come to the office every meeting, go on every trip that I could, and then I became a full-time coach, the following year, and the rest has been history. It was a unique run in terms of how I got started, but I've always been grateful for the confidence placed in me at such a young age, and it's led me here to Dayton, and it's just been phenomenal.
Yeah, you have a lot of different stops and also a lot of different trips in the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
But there's also been heartbreak along the road because there seems like to be such a thin margin between being good and being an NCAA tournament team. And
no doubt about it.
And sort of describe that.
Yeah, I think it's this perpetual build-up, if you will. I've been mostly at programs that had to earn their way to the NCAA tournament. And even when I was at Kansas State as an assistant and we were able to take multiple trips to the NCAA, you were still on edge. So that gives you this fire, this chip on your shoulder. So I'm proud of that. But you're exactly right. There's, in 2007, Doug Pinto from Alter High School here, he banks one in, and that sends us to the NCAA. But I also remember in 2001, Doug Davis getting a charge against Kent State, and we lose a heartbreaker by like 5. We were winning at that point in the game, in the MAC championship game. So you're right. The difference between advancing and not being invited is minuscule. And so what happens is it's taught me to enjoy the journey along the way, but always be moving forward. That was one of Coach Coles's valuable lessons. Was it didn't really matter what happened to us in December and January. We wanted to be healthy. We wanted to be playing good, playing together, and we wanted to be peaking around tournament time. Now, conversely, in being at Dayton, because of the pageantry, the resources, and the position that Coach Grant has always had the program in, there's a lot more challenges early in the year and during the year to sustain that. So it's always in front of us. It's always in front of our team in terms of the goals. And every step of the way, we try to include that in everything we do, practice, film, scouting, where we want to be come March. And that's been phenomenal to witness. And going back to, again, a year ago, those guys followed it to the letter. The games we needed to win. We almost knew how we had to win and what was most important. And I thought we all were able to experience the fruits of that labor with a 7 seed and then, of course, going to the second round. So it all comes full circle, whether you earn your way in the tournament or in that large bid, but that's playing college ball. You've never played college basketball unless you played in the NCAA tournament.
Well, full circle for you of playing at UD Arena and the NCAA tournament background. What's the thing you most enjoy about coaching?
The impact you can have on young guys. I was a poor kid from Columbus, and had I not been able to earn a scholarship to Miami University, I would have never been able to go to college. I couldn't afford it. My family didn't have the resources. Those things have changed vastly with student athletes these days, as we're talking 30 plus years ago. But in the end, what I want out of it is to inspire young people, to encourage young people, and be part of their development. And it keeps you hungry because it doesn't always work. You talked about just missing the mark in some seasons. Sometimes you just miss the mark with individuals. You never achieve. One of my greatest relationships to the day is a kid named Julius Johnson, call him Juby Johnson. He was out of Cleveland, Ohio. Gatorade Player of the Year in 1999. Came to Miami, was the most heralded player since maybe Harper. And we never won a championship. But the relationship he and I have now to the day as men is one of a kind. It's one of my most cherished possessions. His father married my wife and I. And so those are the things I'm after, trying to build those young men up. We're hopeful that we win championships, we go to NCAA tournaments, but it's trying to have impact, trying to give them influence, and trying to make them better men than maybe even I was or how guys were, back in the day. But I don't think it's ever been about wins and losses. Those things have come, but it's been about trying to have influence and impact their lives in a positive way.
You mentioned your wife. How cool is it now in this journey to Dayton?
Yeah.
And she's down the hall from you.
I'll tell you what, it's the coolest experience ever. We worked at Miami University together, and of course we were friends. It started off. She's younger than me, so I watched her playing career, and then she went overseas and come back years later and joined the staff. But it's an honor, privilege, and a real blessing to work with her, and that she's with the women. We share experiences. We're both in awe every day of the resources and the fun we have working at Dayton. She's been at multiple universities, as have I, and we think this is probably the most special place we both could be, and to be here at the same time is unbelievable.
Well, we're happy that you're both on board, and I appreciate you giving us a few minutes.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure. We enjoy everything you do, and hopefully we have a great year this year.